What's the biggest thing that you guys can accomplish for the bye week here?
Oh, I mean, it's getting better. So young guys haven't been winning, so we're trying, it's not all just game planning or scheming for Michigan State or scheming for Purdue the last 2 games. There's a little bit of that, but it's really just we're doing just very much more individual than normal. You don't have to hurry up and run a bunch of plays. So trying, again, just keep working on just trying to be fundamentally tackling better. We're doing some tackling drills today. We're doing some, create turnover drills, some ball security drills, some stance, some half-line fundamentals. There's 30 minutes of practice with fundamentals.
Yeah.
And then a little bit of scheme work. And some of the scheme work is a little bit towards some of the young guys, too, so we're not wearing some of the old guys out.
How much does it help that a lot of those young guys that have maybe been asked to play more than they thought they were going to be, just getting healthy, getting a little bit of rest?
And that's when I say young guys, some of the young guys aren't getting overloaded, so some guys are playing a lot. So a guy like Mark Murphy that's played a bunch, in the secondary, maybe a little bit more work for Flo. Then Mark, who Flo's been rotating a little bit, getting, Shaq Jefferson up to speed, the safety spot a little bit. Corner-wise, you're still trying to bring along, Michael Hunter. Lawrence Barnett, is kind of spending time, so maybe taking a little work off Greg Heben. All those guys are still young, so it's like we say the ones are getting about a third of the work, and then we're trying to complement some of the young guys that aren't playing a lot, and then some of the guys that are being redshirted and to kind of bring those up to speed a little bit.
How does what you guys do, I guess, recruiting-wise this week kind of affect the way practice works, and how many guys you kind of put on the road and all that kind of thing?
Well, you're just allowed. My deal is like where's the best production served, and where the coach is going, and of course we're still not in a contact period, so we're trying to max out where guys go. Are they really seeing guys practice versus going by a school and a guy's just in a classroom and you can't observe him. So we're trying to take advantage of the eval observation time. Coach today, Coach Johns and Coach Mallory and myself are really only 3 guys here today, kind of running the rest of the guys, whether they were somewhere or traveling to be somewhere to get work done. Of course, we have our GAs that we work. So, some of our individual work was group work. So, for example, I went with the offensive line, and Noah Heron was with the tight ends, and Coach Johns kind of the receivers doing some routes with the quarterbacks. I had the quarterbacks and running backs in a run period. Coach Shula was down with the front in a run period. Coach Mallory with the secondary. So it's a little bit by committee. Our meetings are shorter and our meetings are group meetings. So we're doing more. Let's meet as an offense. Let's meet a defense and do some general things. And so it's kind of tough. I want to do fundamentals, but it's hard to do a lot of specific fundamentals when you're short some coaches. So there's a double-edged sword there. But I think the one thing, we're maybe not trying to get as many plays or be as hectic and just try to get more quality work in what we're doing with those guys.
If you could have your choice, where would you want the bye week, during the season?
I think you kind of like it. It's nice to get, I don't know if you like it after week 1, or 2, but I think sometimes, whether it be at the end of your non-conference or in between, conference games 1, 2, where you get, 4, 5, 6 under your belt, sometimes when you get 8 or 9 at the end, and because I even think you can be more productive recruiting earlier with that week because, guys hadn't committed yet. You're on them maybe a month or 2 earlier. But, the schedule, guys, it is what it is. So, I don't think you want to I don't want it week 1 or 2. And at the same time, I don't know if you necessarily want it this late. But that being said, we've saved our recruiting days to use that. And for us, if we were an older team and playing well, we probably wouldn't be doing as much fundamental work. But that being said, it's not a spring ball mentality, but it's a little bit more fundamental with the young guys.
How much does it change what you can do with the bye week based on where it's placed through the season?
I just think there's different, just different thought processes based on your opponents, who's coming up. Again, we're so far, down the road. We kind of are what we are with our personnel. We are what we are schematically. So it's more like, do you really need to spend, when typically you got Sunday to Saturday to get ready for someone, do you need to spend 2 full weeks just for Michigan State or a little bit of time for Michigan State and Purdue? So again, that being said, we took it use it as recruiting, and as many freshmen and redshirt freshmen and sophomores were playing to kind of not wear them out, but make it a little bit more. Let's be a fundamental-oriented team and not get away from just schemes and scheme. Let's go back to day 1 stance, day 1 alignment, day 1 fits, day 1 tackling, day 1 blocking. So but that's just the nature of our team. 2 years from now, 4 years from now, if it's the same week, where we're at, you could be in a different thought process. That's just where we were as coaches, what we thought the best way to go about it.
How much does that make a difference with Trey because he doesn't have to prepare for an opponent this week?
But again, we're giving a lot of work back to Ed. Dusty's doing a little bit, but not quite running. He's throwing a little bit more, so he's getting a little bit of him. But it's really trying to get a little bit more work for Ed back in the mix instead of, the last few weeks as Trey was, he was getting the bulk of the plays because he's been here so little. And to me, I think sometimes as coaches, when you talk about trusting, it's like the coach trusting the player, and it's like you got to see him doing things. So I think that, it's really getting a lot of work for Ed. Stephen Houston's played a lot. It's getting more work for D'Angelo. It's getting more work for some of the, the offensive linemen that have played a lot. We still got a couple of young guys, but trying to work some of the young guys. So it's not just for Trey. I mean, like I say, there was a segment today, targeted at opponents, but I think the real target was just trying to work on getting us to be a better football team.
And do you think, line-wise, injury-wise, where are you guys at with after Ohio State?
We're good. I guess everybody's won. O-line.
Did Peyton come back?
Oh, Peyton, yeah, Peyton. He's got he's in a boot with an ankle deal, so it's not a break. And I don't know. I think just depending on, I don't think short term they think it has a chance to linger too long. But some guys come off those things quicker than others. So I don't know. I mean, right now, again, he's in a boot, but again, he didn't it looked kind of a whiplash, like you thought he maybe could have had some degree of a fracture or something that's not there. So that's good, and I think medically they think he's got a shot here. But we'll see. If he's not practicing a lot by Tuesday, Wednesday. That being said, you do have Collins back and playing well. Will Maddie was at our disposal last week, and even though he's been a good player, we thought Collins was playing better than Will when he was playing. So we just kind of let Collin ride it. But we can stick Collin back to right guard, put Justin back at right tackle, and it's not as we've shuffled so much. I guess it's just a slight shuffle, but it's happened so much. I don't know if it's that big a deal. Justin is a senior. Cody Evers can get back in the mix. But just for Peyton, it'd be great to keep bringing Peyton along. So the real deal is you like to get Peyton back just for Peyton.
Drew Harden and I guess Cody Latimer also didn't play. What's kind of been out there with those guys today?
Cody's got a sports hernia gig that's going to require some surgery, and we're going to go ahead. There's a chance we could probably get him, but there's also a chance if we wait and he practices, he's going to re-aggravate it. So I think we just decided with 2 left that we're going to go ahead and get a procedure done here end of this week, and get him back to get him going for spring. So he's out of the mix, and Drew had a head concussion. From the Northwestern game, hadn't practiced and did a little bit today. It's the first day we got him back. So I would hope by next week that as the end of this week. I don't know if we got to bang him tomorrow and Thursday, but you'd think by Monday he'll be full going back in the mix.
Do you think Dusty will be able to get back this season or not? Well,
I mean, it looks like it running around. I think there's still a little tenderness or stiffness, in his ability to move. But just watching him drop, I mean, he's not limping. The swelling's went down. I think it's just a matter of maybe. I mean, he got a pretty significant. He kind of ripped his ankle pretty good with some of the ligaments. It's taking a little bit of time to come back. So, we'll see. I mean, today watched him. He couldn't run today as far as like running like a quarterback, making guys miss. I mean, he could drop. He could move on it. He's throwing. But I think if he had to plant full go and start moving around, it's not full go to him yet. So. As you go through this week, the more you do, the better. I guess you'll get a feel by Monday where he is.
You got any hope of getting any of those 3 senior safeties back?
I think Drain is going to have had a thought process. They thought was it a stress fracture kind of deal? Not sure. Hadn't healed. I think they're going to have to do a surgical deal for him, so he'll be out. Donnell Jones practiced last week, did dress last week, was close, not quite. He should be at our disposal, and Chris Atkins is still kind of gimping around.
Alexander Webb, is he out?
Of the opinion, I think he's going to be out. That's a high, he got kind of broken up here high enough where I think it's casted. So I'm of the opinion he'll be out. So I'd say safety mix. You're going to have our 2 Hardens, Donnell Murphy, and then Shaq Jefferson would be number 5 in the mixer.
What does it say for Alex? I think Greg even tweeted that he picked that up in the second quarter, that he played so well in the second half.
It says that Greg Heben shouldn't tweet. That's exactly what it says. Which has been dealt with. Sources say.
All right.